Oh, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 2nd of March 2023. Before I start my talk today, I'd just like to make a quick appeal. If you're coming to our Milton Keynes event on Saturday and you happen to have one of those PA speakers with a microphone that you could bring along with you, that'd be fantastic. I think the people speaking will be able to manage without, but it'd be nice to have one just in case some of them struggle a bit. Not that we're going to have many speakers for that long, but it might be a good backup. So if you have got one of those handy and you can bring it along in your car, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, let's get on with the talk. And this is inspired by a film I saw last night that was sent through to me by Marty from the Marty Bucko channel. He's got all of these very interesting DVDs. So I am old-fashioned enough to still have a DVD player around the house. So I was able to pop it in and watch. But before I talk about that DVD, I'm going to talk about science for a little bit. And one of the most ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous phrases we've heard over the last 3 years is, of course, trust the science, which any proper science would tell you that is about the most unscientific thing you could ever have or could ever say, because the last thing you want to do is trust the science. You want to be open to new theories, new avenues of thought, and not just trust the existing established dogma, as it were. And one thing I found surprising about science, and this isn't just over the last 3 years, this goes back quite a lot before as well, is I've been struck by just how close-minded a lot of scientists are and how science is generally. Because you'd think if there's one profession where having an open mind would be welcomed and would be an extremely valuable attribute to have, it seems not. Because you would think that if you went along to a meeting of your fellow scientists and you said something along the lines of, you know what, guys, this theory that we've all believed in for the last 100 years, I'm not so sure about it because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And you'd think that all of the other scientists would just turn around and go, well, yeah, tell us more. Show us your proof, show us what you've got so far, and we'll look into it. And then once they've looked into it, they'll come back to you and either say, very interesting, but I think you've got it wrong because of this reason and this reason. They'd either be like that, or they'd be like, well, you know what, I think you might have something there. We should really open this up to a lot more people and really look into this seriously. So you'd think that is what would happen, wouldn't you? But no. And we've seen this also clearly in the last three years, haven't we? Instead, they, if you go along with any kind of new theory or something that challenges the established dogma, they are, oh no, you're a heretic, get out, we're going to kick you out of your tenured position at whatever university, we're going to stop your funding, we're going to stop your grants, we're going to take your job off you, and we're going to totally discredit you. And this is even for daring to even question the established dogma, or even just mentioning alternative theories without even perhaps supporting them. Just mentioning them is enough to get you hounded out. And I started thinking along these lines of what I'm talking about now just last night after watching this film from Marty, which is called Expelled. And it's all about intelligent design, which is about creation, creationism, and sort of saying that Darwinism and the theory of evolution might not be the right theory to sort of think of or to believe. And they have got some very compelling arguments because, of course, the theory of evolution says that we come out of a primordial soup of inorganic compounds, and then somehow it became organic, and that was the spark of life. Well, it transpires that for things to go from inorganic to organic, it's just almost impossible. It's trillions upon trillions upon trillions to one that would ever happen. It's a little bit like, the old thing of, don't know if you've heard this, but if you get enough monkeys, millions upon millions or billions of monkeys on billions of typewriters, one of them, hitting the keys at random like a monkey would, eventually one of them will produce the entire works of Shakespeare, sort of perfectly written. In theory it's possible, but it's not going to ever happen in reality. And it's the same kind of thing with this primordial soup. So that's one of their arguments. And then another one is the genetic code, in your DNA it has to be written by an intelligence, someone or something of intelligence. Again, that can't be random. So that is a very brief summation of what creationists believe. I think I've got that right, and it's only very basic. But yeah, this film I saw, it was going on about how people have been expelled from universities. There was a lady in an American university which supposedly they pride themselves on their open-mindedness and their sort of freedom of thought, but this lady, she wasn't even supporting creationism or intelligent design. She just mentioned it, and probably along the line said something along the lines of maybe this is worth exploring further, and that's pretty much all she said. And yet she was kicked out. She was hounded out of her position at this university. She was some kind of professor or lecturer, and she was handed out. And that's happened to a lot of other people. And you just think, why? If you're so confident in your own belief system, surely you should be more open-minded and be able to welcome or at least entertain alternative views and theories. And the fact that these people were just hounded out of their positions with such vehemence, bordering on hatred, just says to me that these people who are doing this kind of persecution, they can't be, they just can't be so sure of their position, can they? They're afraid to argue and defend their belief system in an intelligent way through debate and discourse and experimentation, carrying out various experiments to see who might be right and who's wrong, if anyone's right or anyone's wrong, indeed. But the fact that they're not willing to do that, and instead they just want the person who expresses these alternative viewpoints just out and gone, just says to me that their position, deep down, they must think their position is very weak, and that the new theory, not that it's a new theory, creationism, it's the oldest theory pretty much, but they must be very afraid that there is something in these other sort of theories, alternative theories, so much so that is why I believe they act as they do in this sort of highly persecution, persecuting people in that sort of way. So it just seems crazy to me that is how science is. It's just so close-minded, it's highly dogmatic, and it really needs to change. And when people come out and say, oh, trust the science, well, maybe I would trust it a little bit more if it wasn't so close-minded, so dogmatic, and act in the ridiculous way it does. If it was a lot more open and able to explore differing viewpoints and differing theories, then maybe I would trust the scientific process a little bit more. But when you're just telling me to blindly trust the science, that's a little bit like some dictator telling me to trust his regime, isn't it? It's exactly that way. You've got to trust me. You've got to trust what the great dictator, what the great leader says. No dissent is allowed whatsoever. Well, if you're going to act like that, that then encourages me to think, well, you're not on the right track. You're not right. What you're telling me to believe is not right. And I'm going to just explore these other sort of avenues and like it or lump it, basically. So I thought this film was highly enlightening. I thought it was very interesting. It's called Expelled. I'm not sure if it's very easy to find, but if you can find it, that'd be great. I would like to watch it again, but I've got to return it to Marty when I see him on Saturday because it's his only copy. But I'm sure I'll come across it again at some point in the future. But it was highly thought-provoking, and I just think science is broken. It just needs to be a lot more open-minded. It needs to celebrate different opinions and different theories, and not just close down anything that goes against current sort of beliefs and current dogma. So if I can tell the scientific community something, give them an opinion from, like a man on the street opinion, that is what I would say. So I'm going to leave it, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.